Not my standards, but since capitalism got us into this, I think capitalism could get us out of this.
Okay.
For example, if you go to, Juneteenth, what do we do on Juneteenth? What do
Cookout.
Cookout?
Just kind of gather as a community, like.
Do you buy stuff?
I don't.
Well, a lot of people like to support black businesses during Juneteenth. Supporting black businesses is a form of capitalism. So we can use capitalism to get us out of this thing. For example, DC got some bad houses, don't they?
Yeah.
Look at this house. It's really not okay. It's endangering people, and it makes the neighborhood look bad. You got houses going for $1 million around here.
It is a concern, public space and private space, but I think that when a lot of voices keep raising concern that there's a public safety issue, we can't afford to have a catastrophe.
Former Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Paul Johnson lives nearby and said neighbors avoided a catastrophe when a major gas leak led the fire department to condemn the building last month. But residents had been complaining of the condition for years, worried about the elderly residents inside who have since moved.
There's a lot of elderly residents here. There's a lot of development happening, and we want proactive measures taken.
It's not important to them. This is important to our neighborhood. I live here. I've been here 46 years, and I ain't going nowhere. But I want to be safe while I am here.
According to the Department of Buildings, there are over 4,000 vacant properties around the city, nearly 300 also deemed blighted or a danger to the community. We've been reaching out to DOB for 2 weeks now, and still no update on the property status, except, of course, for the crews, who arrived just days after our first report. Neighbors say the next step, continued advocacy for more oversight of construction projects and protection of existing properties to keep homeowners and community members safe. In Petworth, Delia Gonsalves, USA 9.
What would happen if somebody trained a group of black men or black women to come in there, rehab it, and sell it? That's capitalism, but who you sell it to? You can sell it to a person who needs the housing, affordable housing. So that form of capitalism can help people. You know, European capitalism is horrible because the history, they like killing their own people. Oh damn, should I even say that? But European capitalism is horrible. They like killing their own people, starving their own people, so a few people can raise up. We still can use a form of capitalism that's not quite that hard to approve ourselves. Because we standing here in America. America is about money. Immigrants come over here to do what?
Like build a better lives.
Build a better. They want to make money. Capitalism is using somebody else's labor to make you rich. So they could build a better life by making somebody else rich.
What we are looking for is to work. We are not criminals. We are not bad people.
And they'll benefit the same thing. So we can do the same thing. Capitalism is not that bad. And this is the system we live in. You got to play by the rules, man. This is the rules.
You know, I have an interesting perspective to add to this.
All right.
I think what you're describing and also arguing like definitions might not even be the most important, but I think at least my fundamental definition of capitalism is different. So what you're describing, I agree with. I think supporting black businesses does help the black community, but I also, if someone were to buy up like, what's it called, a housing area or a complex or something, and then they sold this area to lower income families who maybe they can't pay rent on time every month, but okay, maybe they got you next month and you'll be set, you know? I don't even know if I would call that capitalism. Because to me, what capitalism is specifically trying to, you know, get the money for yourself and elevate yourself and your business. And the second you put your community at the same level as your personal well-being, that ain't even no longer capitalism to me. But
what is it? What is it?
That's literally just a movement of resources. And this is why the next conversation isn't really like, that's why I said it's kind of semantics, because the definition of it doesn't even have to matter all that much. But at the end of the day, we're saying the same thing, which is just like, we as a community need to look out for each other. So even if I don't call it that, like, I think it's this, we're saying the same general idea as a whole, which is like, okay, we just need to be supporting our community, and that's it.
Do black people have a community? Because I was just about to record saying we don't. but do black people have a community?
Not right now, not at this time.
So what do we have?
What would be the opposite of community?
You got to tell me.
Competition?
That's a good one. That's a good one too.
Oh,
right now, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Much appreciated.
All right, watch this. In one of those books back there, he teaches about community can safeguard against competition. So if you have a group of people, jobs, houses, heritage, when competition comes in, your I guess your local stores we have now, our community can push that out because that's not part of our community. We don't know those people. We don't got the same history of those people. We don't speak the same language as those people. So there's little things like that. But yeah, I think we don't have a community.
No, we don't. I was just saying, like, for a moment, like I've been homeless before and I've had to house hop and, you know, figure out things on my own rather than having a whole family or village or someone that I can go to, or everybody's just mean right now. Like the air is.
Yeah.
We have neighborhoods. We have people living.
We got people that live in neighborhoods.
Live close to each other, but they don't do anything for each other.
We got people that live in a village, but not the village.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like.
I think the lack of community, it's not like it's just recent as in like, oh, it only started existing within the past 10 years. But I also think that is a purposeful thing that like the powers that be have caused because they saw what things like the Black Power movement and Civil Rights movement were doing. So, what's it called? Back in the day, and you know, I don't really care about what today's church leaders have to say for the black community because you're riding in supercars while your people starve. But
heavy criticism for buying his wife one of the fanciest cars in the world, a $200,000 Lamborghini. Now he's going on social media to defend himself.
So I don't really care what you think.
Pastor John Gray earned renown as an associate pastor at Joel Osteen's megachurch in Houston. He now has his own megachurch in Greenville, South Carolina. In early December, Gray surprised his wife Aventer with the lavish gift when they renewed their wedding vows on their 8th anniversary. She screamed with joy when it turned out to be a Lamborghini SUV. The video has gone viral, with some people wondering whether church funds were used to buy the vehicle.
back in the day, if you looked at black churches, they were a unifying force. Everyone came and listened to what they had to say, you know? What's it called? That's community. Back in the day, if we had large groups of, you get what I'm saying? Like
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, we had large talks as a people. And like I said, this isn't me calling back for the church. I'm not doing that at all. What I'm calling back for is something or some way that we can get back to speaking to our people in mass. We don't have no conversations without other people no more. Black people need to start and like.
Let me put some 2 cents in it for the young man. Look up the Stono Rebellion in South Carolina around 1739. That's the point when they stopped allowing black people to form as group, to talk to each other, and at that moment it started acts like the Negro Acts. They couldn't read, couldn't grow own food, couldn't write. They couldn't be in groups, and if they was in groups, they always had to have a white person present. Malcolm X even talks about this. So it started in the 1700s. Anytime a group of black people form, a white person has to be there. That's one of the main reasons why you see a group of black guys walk down the street and police go pull them over. Why? Because it's basically illegal for blacks to come together and talk.
Part of this is like, yes, obviously we're gonna be living in community with, I'll say, tons of different POC. We need to be in conversation with them, you know? Like the black and Mexican relationships in the South, amazing. What's it called? That's a great example. But
now, what you mean about the black and Hispanic relationship in the South?
Well, I can't even speak on that so much because I wasn't there. I just know that we really like look out for each other.
We do.
But so that's a good example of how that's absolutely necessary. What's it called? But that is an entirely different thing than having black conversations to the black community.
I can say that we necessarily go through the same thing in general, but Mexicans and black people, we kind of have a thing.
Yeah.
people discriminated against us a lot.
Boy, I disagree with all that statements y'all just made.
You think so?
About
I have a lot. Look, I have a lot of Mexican. So I
no
guess
problem.
I'm not as biased.
Ain't no problem. Now I'm gonna ask you this.
I'm not. Like I said, we definitely did not go through the same thing.
Now, tell me this. Now, Mexicans never been a slave in America.
Oh no.
All right, so I think
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We
Not the
definitely
same
did not go
thing,
through the same.
but we're
not
allies.
y'all have
because there is some
allies.
places,
Ooh, ladies and gents. I never seen a high-ranking Hispanic official say black bodies. The first thing is always brown bodies.
Brown.
Now I see every black person who makes at least $70,000 always say black and brown. I never seen a black person behind or in a truck with a group of Latinos going to work. I only see them hire themselves. I never seen went to a black restaurant and seen a Hispanic or Mexican person in a black restaurant. I never seen, what else have I never seen?
I think I actually have an interesting thought here. I think there is validity in what you're saying, and I think that's because there's anti-blackness in every community. So it's like, even though, okay, I'm gonna start from somewhere that may sound somewhat unrelated, but I think when we get closer, you'll see it.
We the blueprint.
Exactly, and I think it's because we are the blueprint, and because the second black people are free, everyone is, because we are the most quote-unquote vulnerable in the United States.
But if you was to ask white people, we're superior in everything that we have in our bodies.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just start, and I think it'll make sense.
They want our livers, they want our hearts, they want our eyes, they want our knees.
They do.
Our feet.
But it's for that reason
hair.
that we're so vulnerable. But going from the start, I think we as black people are kind of like the blueprint, not even in quotation marks, the blueprint for all American liberation. And because of that, even those who are oppressed in this country as well, they are still taught to hate black people. So
who's oppressed in this country?
Who's oppressed in this country? That's a whole nother conversation. I think if I started, I wouldn't finish this.
Wait, just name a group. Just name the ethnic group you're talking about.
Well, right now, the same situation that I'm using right now, I'll go with Mexicans. Brown people are also, what's it called, oppressed in this country. So because they are oppressed in this country, naturally they are going to be our allies because our liberation goes together. However, because they are also taught anti-blackness because they live in this country, they are also...
Whoa.
Yeah?
Now, if you go down to Central America, the Caribbean, South America, you see propaganda of black people with big lips.
That's true. There's also anti-blackness there. You're right. I won't say in this country. Because they're taught anti-blackness, because anti-blackness is taught everywhere, they are also, like, it is embedded in that community. So I think there is simultaneously problems of anti-blackness within the Mexican community, but there is also allyship that happens there. And we see that throughout history through escaped, enslaved African Americans going into Mexico. And I wish I had my facts straight for this conversation, but I do remember like just numerous different movements of Mexicans and African Americans together. So I think there's simultaneously allyship there, but anti-blackness that's been taught. And I think allyship is honestly the only way we're gonna move forward as an entire, like as oppressed peoples as a whole. However, in order to move forward in that way, that anti-blackness does need to get addressed.
There are a lot of issues that's facing the black community, from relationships between mother and father and the failure of passing down standards, integrity, and duty, from the lack of education or the debt load from higher education. Go to school, they say, but no opportunity on graduation day. From incarceration to low-skill occupation that marches in gentrification. Well, The time has come. It's time for a change. My book, From Zero to 200K, will outline the steps I use to change my social and economical status. Learn the steps I took to lower my expenses. Learn the steps I took to increase my income. Learn the steps I took to increase my credit and keep a good credit score. Learn about how I generate wealth. Most importantly, how I got God involved in my life. By the time you finish this book, you'll be ready to control your finances with a renewed vigor, knowing that you can accomplish your goals if you apply yourself and make good decisions over the long term. From 0 to 200K with faith, relationships, strippers, jobs, college, hustles, and heartbreak taught me about finance. It's a must read for every Black person in America. Hit the link below and let's get to work.